Thank you, Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, for allowing me to submit for Marketer of the Year again. This is Seth Green, Diamond Luxury member, hoping that third time is indeed the charm. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff from me in front of you. Hopefully, I have provided a preponderance of proof as to why I deserve your vote and nomination for Marketer of the Year. Let's go through it. Let's dive right in. So first of all, who at GKIC wants Seth Green to be Marketer of the Year? Because what other people say about me is 300% more important than what I say about myself. You may remember Dan Kennedy talking about me as a trend in marketing innovation from stage recently, where he said, and I'm paraphrasing, Seth Green's data mining of live time credit card purchase data of other people's customers is exceptional. Now obviously Dan's still doing his due diligence and evaluating our process, and I don't expect to earn his referrals in his business yet, but I am working overtime to make sure that we resolve all of our issues and make sure that we are deserving of that recommendation. But that is what he said about me, and that is, you can watch the footage if you don't remember. He also wrote about me in the No BS info marketing letter a number of years ago when I became an information marketer, and said, Seth, at the racetrack, I say it's luck when you lose, skill and cunning when you win. You do not need luck. Who else at GKIC likes Seth Green for Marketer of the Year? Well, you might recognize this beautiful lady. This is Darcy Juarez, who said, Seth, you are an incredible marketer, and I wish you the best. This handsome devil over here is Dave D. You might recognize him, who wrote about me in Copy Confidential and said, we've got Seth Green, and that's very important. And Dave deserves all the credit for this because Dave is the one who brought me into Planet Dan in the first place. So thank you very much. So that's the judges. Who among the judges want me to be Marketer of the Year? What about my peers? What about my colleagues? What about the GKIC member elite? Well, this is Dr. Dustin Burleson, who was Marketer of the Year finalist. And he said, we highly recommend Seth and his firm without reservation. Hire him, you will not regret it. It's pretty high praise from Dr. Dustin. This is Greg Presti. You might recognize your friend and Titanium member, who said Seth is one of the smartest marketers on the planet. He's been nominated as an honorable mention back-to-back by Dan Kennedy Marketer of the Year. Greg thinks no one's ever done that before, gotten an honorable mention 2 years in a row. Runs my personal marketing campaigns and is the most honest and reputable person I know. If you want your marketing and or businesses to go to the next level, hire him. Don't question it, just do it. When I need help with marketing, I hire him, period. You know, one of the, other than getting to serve Greg, which is a great honor, he called me a couple weeks ago. He was looking at acquiring another business, and he said, I want to run it by you first. I'm not going to buy this company and take it over unless you think you can market it the way you market my local search business. And we took a look at the business. We were very excited about marketing it. The lawyers flaked out, so the deal didn't get done, but I was very flattered that Greg wouldn't have bought a business without knowing that our marketing behind it would work. We've got some other folks. You may remember Sean Buck, reigning Marketer of the Year. Sean just sent a newsletter, just had me write an article for his newsletter about some of our marketing strategies, along with a freestanding insert endorsing me that he sent out to 5,000 of his newsletter subscribers, which is pretty awesome. You may remember Dr. Jeff Anzalone, who was a Marketer of the Year finalist, who just interviewed me for his monthly Interview the Experts call and sent that out to 2,000 periodontists and dentists with his endorsement of me on it. You may also remember Sally Hogshead, who was one of the keynote speakers at one of your events, one of your super conferences, and Sally just interviewed me on a webinar that she blasted out to her entire list, endorsing me. And I am now interviewing Sally on an upcoming webinar from my list in a couple weeks, and we're going to be working on some of Sally and Fascinate's marketing as well. So some of the who's who household name elite, whether a GKIC judge, member, speaker, vendor, supplier, all want you to vote for Seth Green for Marketer of the Year. So why do I deserve that vote other than those amazing endorsements that I've been really fortunate to earn? How did I go from bankruptcy to Marketer of the Year, we hope? I went to Syracuse University. For those of you who don't know my story, I'll go through it real quick. Went to Syracuse University for drama. SU is one of the top 3 drama schools in the country. I was going to be a Broadway star. That was my original life plan when I was 18 years old. You see, I get a different stage now. I get the GKIC stage instead of Broadway. GKIC actually pays better, by the way. My senior year, 3 of my friends and I decided to produce an interactive murder mystery musical called The Mystery of Edwin Drood. We formed a student organization. We went to the Student Government Association. We got them to give us the money for the show. I started producing the show. 6 weeks before opening night, SGA calls and says, we need to talk. That's never good, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, your significant other, or the Student Government Association, or your banker. Student Government Association says, you are a first-time student organization. We gave you too much money. Bylaws state we're not allowed to give you that money. We need half of it back. I said, that's a problem. We're 6 weeks away from opening night. They said, well, you either need to close the show or figure out a way to make the money. Well, if you've ever seen the Tom Cruise Top Gun movie, you remember the bald, cigar-chomping admiral who said, son, your ego's writing checks your body can't cash. That's exactly what I did. I took a stack of pre-approved credit card applications I got in the mail. I signed them all. I charged the budget for the show on a credit card. And I went to my friends and I said, I'm going to do this if you want. And then at the end of the show when we graduate, if there's any money left on those credit cards, we'll split it 3 ways. You'll get credit cards, you'll do cash advances, you'll write me balance transfer checks, and we'll split the debt 3 ways. They said, okay. And we were off and running. But unfortunately, I knew nothing about marketing back then. And while the show was a success, we didn't sell enough tickets. I went back to my friends and said, it's time to take your share of the debt. They did something I didn't do. They went to their parents and asked for permission. Their parents said, no way, which is what my parents would have said had I asked to go borrow money I didn't have to gamble on a musical. But I didn't want to ask because I didn't want them to say no. So, after a year and a half of making payments on those credit cards, I had to go bankrupt. I had to go Chapter 7. I couldn't make the payments. I couldn't keep up with the interest. The amount I owed was more than I made in my first 2 years working. There was no way it was going to happen. It was one of the at the time, it was one of the most embarrassing day in my life, the day I went to court and filed bankruptcy. I later learned from Dan that most serial uber successful entrepreneurs have at least one bankruptcy under their belt, and it should be a badge of honor because I had risked something, although not the smartest risk. He fixed that perception, but I did take a risk, try and borrow money to start a business. I just knew nothing. So with that as my background, I decided I should become a financial advisor. I thought I could have that be a beautiful career choice, and I could teach other people how to avoid making the same mistakes that I did. So I was Seth. Look at that. Main character played by Giovanni Ribisi's name is Seth. My name is Seth. I think it's a coincidence. So except I worked for A.G. Edwards, a Fortune 500 company, and the cold calling I did to interrupt strangers during dinner and ask for money was legal. However, it sucked. It was not very much fun, as you know, and it is the wrong way to market your services. So I happened to be reading, I am a professional magician in my spare time. I was reading a magic trade journal. Yes, Dave D will tell you, magicians have about 8 different trade journals. There were 3 back then, there are about 8 now. And there was a full-page lead generation ad for Dave D's The Ultimate Marketing Course for Magicians. I bought the course. I implemented it in my magic business. I instantly, within 30 days, became the most expensive, busiest magician in Western New York, my geographic area. Places that had turned me down before, that said I was too much money at my cheap rates, now were hiring me. And it wasn't because I became a better magician. I didn't learn any more tricks. It was because I became a better marketer. So I went back to Dave D and I said, would this work in my real job as a financial planner? He said, where'd you learn it? He said, of course. I said, where'd you learn it? He said, the 2 words that changed my life. He said, Dan Kennedy. So I immediately went to consume all things Dan Kennedy. Started out with the books at Barnes & Noble, then graduated to magnetic marketing, got hooked on magnetic marketing, joined GKIC, and instantly bought everything I could get my hands on. How did it work? Well, Dan, I was 6,699 out of 6,700 financial advisors at A.G. Edwards. For those marketers of you who aren't so good at math, that means I was 1 up from the bottom. Within 2 years of implementing GKIC marketing and doing work and working with Dan, I was in the top 30 nationwide, competing against financial advisors who had been building their practices twice as long as I had been alive. My production quadrupled in the first 2 years. I was on a diamond call with Dan. I got to ask a question. I think Dwight must have been sick that day that I got in first. I don't know how that happened. It hasn't happened ever again. But that day, fortune smiled on me. Dwight's finger was broken. I got in first. And I said, here's what I've been up to, Dan. What do I do now? And he said, start a marketing company. And become an info marketer. Teach other people how to do what you just did. So, along the way, and we're going to go into detail on all of this, but I wrote 5 best-selling books on marketing. The first one, Financial Advisor Marketing Magic, How to Make New Customers Appear Like Magic, which was basically a swipe file of my marketing campaigns that was lead generation for my coaching program for financial advisors that Dan told me to start. Next was Real Estate Marketing Magic, because I used our Facebook Ninja strategies to sell my house in 2 hours over asking price, creating a bidding war in Western New York, which normally does not happen. So I wrote a book about how I did it with Dwan Bent Twyford, a real estate expert. Then I wrote Cutting Edge Marketing Magic, which is an interview book where I interviewed 15 of the top marketers in the world, including 5 or 6 wonderful folks from GKIC. Transcribed it, turned it into a book, so don't let anyone tell you you can't write a book. I wrote a book without writing a word of it. Then I wrote Online Marketing Magic, which was about search engine optimization, which is probably obsolete already, even though it came out in the last 12 months. And, of course, Facebook Ninja, how to double your sales by legally stealing your competitors' customers. So what you're looking at in front of you, you should have a stack of binders, a stack of all copies of all 5 of my books, and a couple magazines that I couldn't fit in the binders that have examples of some lead generation ads in them. But let's walk through it in reverse order. So I want you to go backwards. I want you to start with binder number 5. It has a thing on the cover that says binder number 5. Binder number 5, you will find 19 back issues of my financial services firm's non-boring monthly newsletter. Because in magnetic marketing, Dan says the biggest thing you can do to put an iron fence around your herd is start a monthly newsletter that isn't all about you, isn't all about your industry, and has some personality in it, right? Personality in copy, which, of course, I own, of course. So, you will see 19 back issues of my financial services non-boring newsletter. In binder number 4, you will find tons of direct mail campaigns for Silver Spoon, the financial services firm, including lead generation ads, which I'll show you here, my infamous Republican Hunter ad, my diaper letter that got a 14% response rate, and my earplug letter. So let's take a look at just a few of them, and you can obviously page through them. I hope you will peruse them and consider them a giant swipe file. So I have a financial advisor who was in my coaching program who said, I said, who's your ideal client? And we analyzed his client base and found that the clients he liked working with the best, that paid him the most, that referred at the highest rates, were Republican hunters. This was in 2007. This is when Hillary Clinton was the front runner for the Democratic nomination, before Obama came out of nowhere. So I said, all right, we went to Info USA. We got a list of about 238 affluent Republican hunters in Western New York, because he's in my area. And I crafted this seminar invitation. Instead of the crappy seminar invitations in the financial services industry that I'm sure you've seen, we wrote this. Is your portfolio Hillary proof? Came in that red, white, and blue flag envelope that we bought from paperdirect.com, matching flag stationery. I wrote instead of a 1-page seminar invitation or a postcard, I sent an 8-page sales letter. Hey, if you're anything like me, you're terrified Hillary's going to get elected. She's going to take your guns away. She's going to decimate healthcare and the stock market. She's going to make our country socialist. We hit every hot button they had, and it was the exact perfect time. And instead of the industry standard 0.5 to 1% response rate on a seminar invitation, we got over a 32% response rate. And every single one of them showed up. Not a single person skipped the seminar. There were no plate lickers in the room. It was standing room only. Every single person wanted to be there. And that financial advisor lived off that seminar for a year. It generated enough business to keep him from doing anything else for a year. That's personality and copy, right out of the personality and copy course. This is my lead generation ad. It's an old picture, as you can tell, back from 2007, for our free report, How to Overcome the 7 Biggest Mistakes Affluent Families Make When Working with a Financial Advisor. Now, one of the highest, other than talking about me at Info Summit or Super Conference when Dad did the State of the Union and talked about, me as a trend in marketing innovation, the other highest, best praise he's given me was when I faxed him this lead generation ad for a critique. I think I got the critique with one of the products that I bought, and he sent it back, and I have it framed in my office because Dan's scrawl, his handwriting, In the top left-hand corner is Seth, I would not change a thing. And that's pretty amazing for Dan to not change the copy. So this is the lead generation ad. This is the front cover of that report, of that free report. And then I learned when I advanced and bought more products from Dan, from GKIC, in Renegade Millionaire, I learned about, they mention in magnetic marketing and endorsed mailing is mentioned, but it's a really advanced strategy in both Phenomenon and Renegade Millionaire in terms of buying speed. So what I did was I said, who else sees my ideal client, right? Estate planning attorneys. They see my ideal client. So I went and I got the largest estate planning firm in Western New York, Hogan and Willig. I printed up separate versions of all of our reports, as you can see on the top right-hand side, exclusively for clients of Hogan and Willig. So I put their branding on my report, and I got them to, along with the sales letter, to mail this to their clients on my behalf. And attorneys, if you know any, I know how much GKIC loves lawyers, but if you know anything about them in financial services, they do not give referrals. They just don't, because 20 different financial advisors might send them a client once in a while. And if they picked one, my God, they'd offend everybody else, and no one else would send them those clients. That's their mindset. And I got the law firm to mail everybody, which is, as far as I know, in the industry unheard of, and now I have other advisors obviously paying me for how I did it. Let me reference, so that was the Republican Hunter ad, some lead generation ads. You'll find in there, in the fake FedEx envelope that's lumpy, you will find my diaper letter. It's funny, I did this right in 07 after we had our first baby, and the market was tanking, and I did I can't believe I got it through my compliance department. I'm sure, I don't know if they'd approve it now if I tried it, but it was, are you crapping your pants about the stock market? And the diaper was filled with black jelly beans, so it looked like crap, pardon my language. And the letter said, hey, you don't have to crap your pants about the stock market. You can just call us and we'll fix it. That letter got a 14% response rate, which again, in financial services is unheard of. Normal response is like 1%. And it worked. And the funny thing is, my compliance department approved it, but they said, we'll defend you if someone sues you for malpractice, but we're not going to defend you if someone sues you for like slander, libel, or whatever, offending them. And I said, nobody's going to sue me for this. I did get one complaint out of the hundreds that we mailed. I had someone call me and say, oh my God, this is disgusting. I can't believe, you sent this. This is horrible. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I said, well, sir, if you don't have a sense of humor, I don't want you on my list anyway. But 14% of the people responded and and booked appointments. So it worked phenomenally well. You'll also see at the back of the binder my doodled earplug letter. You have a gentleman out west named Ron Carruthers, the college planning expert for ultra affluent folks that I follow. And he did an earplug letter that was mentioned that Dan showcased. I think it might have been in Copy Confidential, and he might have highlighted it years ago. And I said, oh, that's brilliant. I'm swiping that. I went to Alice Mishka, I think is her last name, who does the doodled, one of the vendors of the doodled envelopes and doodled stationery. I bought those. I got the font. I bought the earplugs in bulk from an industrial supply house. And I did hey, if you're sick and tired of listening to your friends complain about the stock market, stick these earplugs in your ears and hand them my business card. It was basically a referral letter with earplugs attached to it and doodles all over it, and it worked incredibly well. And, I mean, you wouldn't think that would translate, right? I mean, you guys know better, but the average business owner wouldn't say, oh, that earplug letter, that wouldn't work in my business. But you got to be creative, right? You got to think, how would it work in my business? That's the way to make money. So that's what I did. So thank you for teaching me that. Okay. Binder 3. You will find more Silver Spoon Direct Mail. Some of the ones to highlight, you'll see a postcard there with a picture of a pearl necklace on it. This was my gift in advance campaign for referrals that I learned from you. And so what I did was I sent them a pearl necklace in advance, and with, hey, thanks so much, this is an ethical bribe for referral, sharing how much you love Silver Spoon with other people. Here's the pearl necklace in advance, thank you so much, basically. And this thing works like gangbusters. It's funny. We did about 4 different versions of it. We sent the pearl necklace to our best clients. We sent the pearl necklace to our best prospects, saying we're giving you the bribe to come in and meet with us. We sent the postcard offering a pearl necklace to all of our other clients, saying if you refer, we'll give you the pearl necklace. And we sent it to our B and C level prospects, saying, hey, if you'll come in, we'll give you the pearl necklace. So we gave it in advance to the top people. We offered it to everybody else. We probably should have given it to everybody. It works so well. It's unbelievable. It's funny. I represent my financial services firm represents my wife's OBGYN practice. I still see them. They're clients, so I saw them actually last week. I see them on a regular, every quarter. Those women, OBs, still all wear the pearl bracelets. It's so funny. I had one of them call the day she got it and goes, do I need to declare this on my homeowner's insurance, on my jewelry rider? Which is so funny because I bought them in bulk in China for $5 each. But she thought it was like really nice. And they still wear them. And luckily their wrists haven't turned green. So obviously it was okay quality even though it was from China. So gift in advance, it works. You will see an endorsed mailing I did from Magnetic Marketing with my CPA. Again, CPAs normally don't refer to financial advisors for the same reasons that the lawyers don't. But what I did was I sent out a letter endorsing her to my list, so then she's obligated, hey, I did this for you, no other financial advisor is doing it for you, you might as well do it for me. And that worked really well. I think that one mailing she sent to, we got like 10% conversion. So not phone calls, but the mailing she did for us, 10% of those people became actual clients. So it worked really well. If you keep flipping, you will find a heavy equipment postcard. That's a postcard with the sexy girl in the green dress on it. And it's funny, this was a heavy equipment leaseback fund marketing campaign. You don't need to know what it is. Don't worry about what a heavy equipment leaseback fund is. What you need to know is that they're boring as hell. Sorry. They're really, really boring, complicated technical investments that nobody really cares about. However, we used the personality and copy course to make it sexy. And we said, forget about diamonds. Heavy equipment is a girl's best friend. Buy the gift that keeps on giving because it pays you dividends every quarter. So this worked so well. We had women calling in, buying the investment for themselves. We had women calling in asking to buy the green dress that the model is wearing. They're like, where did she get the dress? I want the sexy dress. And I had some of my single male clients asking, can you set me up with a model? Which, we got from my stock photo, so I can't set them up with a model. But it worked, and people bought, and it's funny, the financial company that sold the heavy equipment leaseback fund couldn't believe our results. And they said, nobody sells that much. Like, how did you do that? And we said, we made your boring product sexy. We put personality in it. And then they paid to license the campaign, which is awesome. So I created it for ourselves, and we ended up making money on it that way too. You will also, if you keep paging, you'll see a tear sheet mailer. You guys have written about this many, many times in multiple newsletters, multiple products, and you've highlighted it like Scott Tucker back in his subprime mortgage days. You highlighted him multiple times in multiple newsletters doing it. So I'm friends with Scott. Have been for years because of that. Again, hired the same vendor, did a tear sheet mailing. It worked phenomenally well. Of course, my industry, Obama has changed all the rules in my industry, and you can't do a tear sheet now as sneak up mail. You can't say sign J. Like, you literally now have to stamp on there that it's an advertisement. You have to stamp. It's got to be signed by you. It's got to come from you. You can't do it as sneak up mail anymore. It's really annoying. It still works. Doesn't work as well, obviously. But just like you can't do broadcast fax anymore. But I learned it from you, and it worked. Now, all of that marketing got me PR. It got me press. So this is the Registered Rep, which is the biggest trade journal in financial services. They interviewed me for the cover story, Cold Calling is Back, and they were writing why you should start cold calling again, and I was the counterpoint to the story. So I'm in the story saying, no, you shouldn't cold call. I learned this from Dan Kennedy. Here's what you should be doing. You should be doing lead generation and making them chase you with automated follow-up instead. So that was really cool. I got to be the antidote to cold calling. So thank you for that. Dan told me to start a marketing firm, right? On a diamond call. So I did. This is financialadvisormarketingbook.com because I wrote a book. So this was me offering lead generation for the book, gets them on the list for the book, which then sells my financial advisor coaching program. That's the book, Financial Advisor Marketing Magic. So while I was doing that, I got a phone call from the president, VP of Marketing for AAA, the Auto Club in my area. And he said, I can't use you as a financial advisor. My brother-in-law is my advisor, but I got your lead generation marketing, and it's better than what we've got. Can I hire you to do that for us? And I said, I don't know. How big a check can you write? And he said, well, here's my budget for this project. And I said, you can hire me for that. So that started Market Domination LLC, my direct response marketing firm that started back in 2007 and has been taking off on an incredible journey ever since. So in Binder 2, you will find some direct mail campaigns for the marketing campaign, for the marketing firm. You will find our some back issues of our quarterly magazine. Dan says you should own your own media, right? You should control the media, just like Renegade Millionaire magazine, which I don't know what happened to that. If you guys are still doing that, I haven't gotten one in years. And if you aren't, hey, I'd love to see that come back. So there's my shameless plug for you. So you see our quarterly magazine. You see some free lead generation reports we've got. How to 7 biggest ways to attract new customers like magic. You see postcards. You see direct mail. In the first binder, you'll find more direct mail for the marketing campaign. You'll find some of my joint ventures for the marketing firm. Dustin Matthews and Dave Van Hoos of Speaking Empire, who are longtime GKIC partners and exhibitors and speakers. Earlier in the year, they did a JV for me. They snail mailed their list. First, they had me come speak at their event last November. Then they snail mailed their list for me with an endorsed letter. You'll see a letter from me with a lift note from Dustin endorsing me. They did a 2-step direct mail campaign for me to their list. So that was really nice of them. I've done, as you heard earlier, joint ventures with Sean Buck and Jeff Anzalone. I've also done quite a few with Greg Presti, where he's interviewed me on a webinar to his list, sold our services and our product to all his dentists, which have worked really, really well. Again, all of those folks I met at GKIC events. I wouldn't have connected to them without you, or been inspired by them without you, or had the chance to work with them without GKIC. So I would tell everyone, not only do you need to buy the products, but you got to come to the events, because it's not just what you learn. Sure, you can buy the DVDs, and that what you learn is priceless. I've probably made even more money with the connections and friends I've made at GKIC than just what I've learned as well. And it's another amazing opportunity, because there aren't too many people like me. I don't know what the GKIC membership list is in Buffalo. I'm not the IBA here. So I don't know how many GKIC people here are in Buffalo, but I haven't found very many. So it's lonely being a very ambitious serial entrepreneur, direct response entrepreneur, and getting to come to GKIC events and socialize and talk to and hang out with people who get it is worth the price of admission by itself. In the newsletter binder, you will find monthly issues of our marketing newsletter, which is done by Sean Buck, of course, the Newsletter Pro. So those are Sean Buck Newsletter Pro monthly issues. As I said, along the way, I wrote Real Estate Marketing Magic, which was how to sell your house in 2 hours. I wrote Cutting Edge Marketing Magic, which was my marketing interview book. This is an example of one of those direct mail marketing campaigns for the marketing firm. This is the lead generation postcard, driving people to our website to sign up for our 7 guaranteed ways to make new customers appear like magic. This was a direct mail campaign I did to GKIC folks that was selling them on a literal dollar. It was a $1 mailer, so dollar bill stapled to the top, dollar bill letter, Joe Polish, Gary Halbert, Dan Kennedy. And you will know that that the dollar was to give them the dollar to pay for they took a marketing quiz, and then the dollar was to pay for a dollar consultation with me, where we went over the results of their quiz and what was going on in the marketing, and of course proposed to them that we be the solution to that. So I started. You also said I have taught to start a marketing mastermind group. So I started a marketing mastermind group, but I do it a little bit differently. I do it as a stick strategy. So not only do we make money on it, obviously, by charging admission, and not only do we get clients out of it, but I also have all of my local physical clients here in Western New York come to the mastermind group. It's a lot easier to get them to bring someone to a mastermind group. It's an easier referral. Hey, come with me. I'm going to this awesome, thing where you're gonna learn X, Y, and Z next month. Come with me. That's an easy introduction / referral. And we do it it gets referrals. We get business out of it. It's also a stick strategy because our clients come every month and they see stuff that we're doing for them, or they see stuff that we're not doing for them that they want to hire us for. And the more they come see you live, the more likely they are to stick around and keep paying you. And it also, we have about 80 people who who pay to stream it on Facebook. And we also use it to create content, because what I will do is I will teach at the mastermind group, and then we record the videos, obviously, but then I transcribe the videos and the PowerPoints and turn that into product. So our Facebook Ninja home study course, our info product, a lot of those videos and the content were all done at Mastermind, and I'm repurposing them and turning them into more product. My next product that's coming out is called Podcast Marketing Magic, and we are recording it at my April Mastermind group. So I will record it, transcribe it, and poof, shoot some additional training videos, and I've got a product. It's a great product creation strategy too, because I'm basically getting my mastermind members to pay me to create the product that I then go and sell, which is right out of Renegade Millionaire. I've also used this for my kids. So I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And one of my wife's coping strategies for being a stay-at-home mom of 3 very high-energy children is she writes a blog called whinypalooza.com, where she writes weekly articles funny articles about the life of a stay-at-home mother of 3 very active children. So what I did was I made my kids affiliates of Amazon, and usually every article my wife mentions some toy or something that happens to be the issue that week, and we put an Amazon affiliate link in the article, and they get paid. Because they do toy reviews. There's a whole section of the site where the kids say, I like this toy, here's why, go buy it, or I don't like this toy, don't buy it. And that's for credibility and honesty purposes. We don't make any money off of negative reviews. But they have a toy review section of her website, plus her articles mention toys if they're fighting over something, and they get paid. So my kids are the world's youngest affiliate marketers. They also have a site called youngestaffiliatemarketers.com, where they have an info product on how kids can become info marketers. And it's actually gotten them press. They've been interviewed in the media for being the world's youngest affiliate marketers. They got interviewed. Their first interview was the same day that Shark Tank did a kid episode. So because they were kid business owners, we tied it into Kid Shark Tank, and they were interviewed in Small Business Entrepreneur Small Magazine, which is really awesome. So I've applied it to my kids. So this is an example. Here's Ella reviewing a Smurfette doll, and then the Amazon affiliate link right next to it. So if you want, go to whinypalooza.com and watch my cute kids. It's gotten me some amazing exposure. All of this marketing, obviously. I've had the good fortune to consult with and become friends with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and As Seen on TV. That's been an incredible journey. There's Sally Hogshead, who's a client. Ryan Dice, who I've done some consulting for Roland Frazier and Perry Belcher over at Digital Marketer. It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I think it's like a month ago, I got a phone call at like 8 o'clock on a Friday night from Roland. And he's like, hey, I'm sitting here with Richard Weiler, and we're masterminding together about a business we're going to start, and we need your help with it, and we need your opinion, and can you do X? And I was like, well, it's Friday, it's 8 o'clock, I'm about to go out to dinner with my wife, but sure, it's Roland Frazier, I'll take the call. That's your good friend, GKIC speaker as well, Howard Berg. Also, let's talk what's not in the box, because I ran out of room, and I sent it to you last year, is my shock and awe boxes. So the shock and awe box that I came up with before I saw Walter Bergeron's came in an Omaha Steaks box, and if you opened it, it had these 23 pieces in it. It had a box of Omaha Steaks. It had a chocolate-covered candy apple, caramel-covered candy apple. It had chocolate-covered Oreos. Those were the 3 food items. And then it had, obviously, a ton of pieces in it, all designed to provide a preponderance of social proof to get very affluent financial services prospects to become clients. And worked very well. Then I came to Super Conference and saw Walter Bergeron's, and I said, for our marketing firm, we need a shock and awe box. So I copied Walter's ATA flight. I swiped Walter's ATA flight case with the DVD player inside, with the marketing materials underneath, which has an 88% conversion rate for us. That's not an opt-in, that's not a phone call, we send that 88% of those people buy what we're selling. So we only send like 10 at a time because we have to be able to fulfill what we're selling. And the Shock and Awe box is selling a very high-end marketing campaign because you don't want to spend, $100, $150 on someone who's only going to spend $300. You want to send it to someone who's going to spend a lot of money with you. So that works incredibly well, which you saw a year or two ago in one of my previous Marketer of the Year submissions. So what is all of this equal? Well, obviously it catapulted me from bottom of the barrel financial advisor to top of the country. Then it started a marketing company that didn't exist before GKIC, increased our sales 11,798% as a marketing firm. And that includes the fact that in the last 12 months, since I submitted to you last year, our sales doubled again. So absolutely incredible to literally go from being bankrupt to having two very successful businesses. One, we're the fastest growing direct response marketing firm in the country. It's funny, we are, according to, if you compare us to the marketing firm that is, I believe, in the top 30 of the Inc. 500, our growth rate is even faster than theirs. So I guess that would make us the fastest privately held marketing firm in the country. And again, that's all thanks to GKIC. So I would love to share my story from the GKIC stage. I would love to give examples of some of those marketing campaigns to the GKIC folks at the Super Conference so that they can S&D them. I will be more than happy to pay for you to ship all this stuff back when the competition is over. I'm also more than happy to contribute. You obviously see the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of marketing campaigns I sent you. I am happy to provide Word doc, JPEG, PDF, whatever you need of any of them for a swipe file for a GKIC product to be sold or to be offered to the members. I'd be happy to be in the newsletter again, or a gold or diamond call, whatever you want to do. Use me whatever way you want. Should I win, I will be more than happy to use all of our marketing strategies, both online and off, both Facebook, with the credit card data, which we now have access to on Twitter. We have some amazing data now on YouTube. So I'd be more than happy to use all of our resources at your disposal to help promote GKIC and the fact that I was nominated for Marketer of the Year as a finalist and hopefully a winner. So again, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. My businesses literally wouldn't be here without you. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to hearing back from you about my Marketer of the Year submission.